found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. It is Wednesday. The sun is shining, and WestHamOnline is here to discuss West Ham's next game, and that is in the Europa Conference League. WestHamOnline, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, apart from my lack of sleep. I can't seem to sleep at the moment. I received a grateful 3.5 hours.
Well, mate, that's 3.5 hours more than what I got. 100%. Right, let's get into it. Talk to me about West Ham, mate. Obviously, you've before we get into the preview, we'll talk about over the last few days. People have been saying about different things online, on social media. What do you make of it all?
I think we're in trouble. There's been a lot of stuff coming out about West Ham, and the betting odds on Moyes on West Ham to go down. Is getting lower and lower. We're obviously in a difficult situation at the club at the moment, but I don't know. I do think we'll get out of it, but there's no denying that there's a toxic sort of vibe around the club at the moment from everyone, really.
I agree on that, right? I will say one thing. I look at social media the other day. I see everyone having a razz with everyone, like high influence people who cover different channels, just ramming with people consistently. I look at it like this, I've sort of planned this out in my head. How I think West Ham's going to do this. I think the next 3 games will determine where we're going. If we can't beat Southampton, get anything against Newcastle at home, and get something at Fulham, then we don't deserve to be in the league at the end of the day. Whether that's the players or the manager, the manager's here. He ain't going nowhere. And that's the problem we've got is now we've either got to put up with it. We've got to put up with this right at present. Do you know what I mean? We can't keep going on about the manager and trying to hope just that he's going to go. Because I think he would have won it a long time ago, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So I think the next 3 games will determine it. But West Ham will never surprise me, and to go and lose them 3 and then go and beat Arsenal at home, Manchester United at home, Liverpool at home. This wouldn't surprise me with West Ham. It's always been the West Ham way. So I don't know at the minute. It's not a good vibe. I will say that, and people are sort of clashing with people quite a lot. But it's not good. It really ain't. Do you know what I'm saying? Right, let's get into this. West Ham United versus AEK Larnaca or Larnaca. Online, what are you expecting on Thursday?
I'm not sure. I think we'll put out a relatively strong team because we don't have a Premier League game on the weekend. So I think we've got obviously a break. So to be honest, we probably should play a strong team, which is a good thing because it means that we're probably going to go through. We're 2-0 up now. I'd like to see Scamacca play. Antonio as well. Maybe this is the sort of game where you could play them both because Scamacca needs game time. Antonio obviously scored 2 last week against Larnaca, so if he's fit, they probably both should be playing. I think it might be an opportunity to rest a couple players, maybe Ben Rama or someone like that, because he's played a lot lately. But yeah, if we don't go through, it would be a misery compiler.
If just for argument's sake, I expect West Ham to get this job done at home, in front of our fans. I expect West Ham to beat this team comfortably, if I'm honest. If the worst case scenario happened and we did get knocked out by this team, he would have to probably go. Do you know what I mean? He would have to 100% go that night, really. This is why I'm saying about the next 3 Premier League games. I just don't see it. I looked at this team the other day. They could barely ever string the attacks together in the final third. And let's be honest, we scored 2 goals and just killed them stone dead. So, for me, this would have to be an absolute it would be probably the worst defeat of West Ham's history. I would say. If West Ham can't, if West Ham was to lose this game. What you saying?
Yeah, if we don't go through now, then they literally have no choice but to sack Moyes. But I'd say, as bad as we are this season, I think the chances of us not going through here are about 1%.
Yeah, Yeah, I agree, mate. I really do. Right, let's get into this talking point. Will Scamacca return? I see people keep criticising Scamacca. Some of it is justified and some of it isn't. How do you think Scamacca's been treated?
I think he's been misused. Certainly, I heard someone say it yesterday. To be fair, on False Minds, and it's a very good point. We targeted a summer. We targeted a striker for 18 months. We avoided many targets. We didn't go in for targets like as much as we should have, such as Nunes in January and other players. And this was the man that for 18 months we decided was the best option. And it's pretty evident that he doesn't suit Moyes' style. So,
Right.
question marks on the scouting department there, certainly. I don't know what they told Scamacca when he was joining him, but they've done him in, really, haven't they? I will say, his effort levels, and I think Mancini has said this as well, when pressing are not good enough. But
Right.
most of the blame has to go to the scouting department and Moyes on this one, in my opinion.
Yeah, but do you think Moyes is getting the best out of him, though, mate?
No
That,
chance. I don't think he ever will.
like,
Yeah,
go on.
I
I'll let you
remember.
land.
I remember saying on the show in the summer. I think you agreed, but I can't remember. So maybe correct me wrong on this. I thought Brozier was always better suited for what Moyes wanted to play, the sort of style he wanted to play. Brozier's more of an in behind runner, goes wide like Antonio sort of does.
Yeah.
Scamacca, I remember Mitch saying as well, Scamacca never really suited Moyes' style. So I thought Moyes was going to change the way we play, but we just haven't. And as a result, Scamacca has looked not good enough, really.
I think what I said was Brozier looked at the type of player for West Ham in what you just said, but we couldn't be convinced after 6 months. But
Yeah.
whereas the other Scamacca was in Italy, he was doing it in a higher league. He was consistent. He was playing for a lesser team in Italy and still managed to score 16, 17 goals in the season, I think it was, or something ridiculous. So you had to respect him. The problem is with Scamacca is I like Scamacca. A lot of fans don't. I think he hasn't really had. I would say he hasn't had the rub of the green because the last goal he scored was Leeds away. He scored a good goal against Leeds. His confidence was out, and Moyes goes and subs him to bring on a defender and try and defend it out. Now, for me, I just think he should have been just chucked in there and played. Was Saturday's game for him? I don't believe it was. Like Villa were playing a high line. I can understand the Cornet thing, but Cornet's not really a striker, mate. He's always been a winger or like at best. Do you know what I mean? He's never been a centre forward. So I don't know. Where do you see it going with Scamacca in regards to the future?
Well, if Moyes stays, then Scamacca has got to go, or Moyes has to completely change it. Where there's no evidence that Moyes can do that, so that would be a disaster. Or
Right.
Moyes goes at the end of the season, and Scamacca is ensured that the new manager coming in will play to his sort of style. So I think it'll be a 50-50. Scamacca will either be another massive flop, or we'll get a chance to resurrect him next season in a system that suits him.
But does this fall on Moyes though a little bit? Because people are saying about the Haller comparison. Now, I'll be honest. I thought Haller was all right. I wasn't of the equivalent of people saying, well, he don't look happy, right? And because he didn't like smile when he scored a goal, he had that sort of arrogancy about him, right?
Yeah.
But the goals he scored were top class goals.
Yeah,
I
agree with you.
Right, the Sheffield United goal he scored was a good one. There was a goal against Palace where he done like a bicycle kick, which was a decent goal. And what a lot of people are saying is basically Scamacca's going down the same route as Haller. Now, you could do that once, and you could sort of hand it on to the manager.
Yeah.
But if this happens again, and Scamacca is sold, and he goes somewhere else and starts banging in goals every week, then you've got to look at the manager, innit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've definitely. Here's the way I see it. You've definitely got to look at the manager because it's very evident that a natural striker like Haller and Scamacca, he can't get the best out of them.
Yeah.
What I will say, this is not giving any praise to Moyes on this one, by the way, because it is his fault. But what I will say is I think Scamacca is actually a very good striker. I don't rate Haller personally. I've never rated Haller.
Right.
Apart from his first few games at the club, I thought he always looked slow and weak, and I've just never been a big fan. Scamacca, I am a big fan. The only thing I question with Scamacca is his effort levels, but most of the fault has to come on to the manager and his staff.
Yeah, listen, I like Scamacca. I like what he brings. Right, I think he needs time to adapt. What it is, people keep forgetting it is his first season, and then they look at Lucas Paqueta and they say, "Well, it's his first season, right?" And all. So, I understand that. I do think Moyes needs to unleash this geezer, though. I ain't gonna lie. I just think he needs to go. You know what? He's a centre forward. He could get on the end of something, or he can make a run and score a goal, or do something out of nothing. Where that's what we need at the minute. So I want him to start on Thursday. I do. Right, and if he starts and plays the full 90 minutes, not 60 minutes, 90 minutes, right? I want him to play a game where we can look at him, analyse him, and go, you know what? Yeah, right. Is Moyes right or is he wrong? Do you know what I'm saying? The last time I see Scamacca play, this is no other lie, in like a game which was, I'll be honest, it was a fucking friendly, was Cambridge. I watched him play against a Cambridge testimonial, and he had so many chances, and he was terrible that game. He really was. I know it's a testimonial, but you got to he still missed the chances. So will Scamacca return? We will see.
Yeah, that is the point, because a lot of people don't bring that up. Scamacca hasn't helped himself as bad as Moyes has been with him lately.
Yeah.
When Scamacca first came in, he was actually there was games he was playing really well, like Anderlecht, Fulham, a couple other league games, Wolves. But lately he has looked a shadow of himself. Maybe it's a lack of confidence, but let's be fair, he did miss about 5 sitters in that Cambridge game. And if that was Antonio or Ings, we'd all be saying that's not good enough. So we've got to be fair.
I agree. Will Moyes make it 10 out of 10 in Europe? You keep saying about the 9 out of 9, the 8 out of 8, the 7 out of 7 all the time. I'm going to say this, yeah. Why is it West Ham are such a Jack-or-Nine side? That's the question that I need to find out, because in Europe, I would have thought West Ham might have struggled to a point in certain games, going away from home to games where it's going to be hostile. They've won 9 out of 9. It's good, right? Hopefully, it's going to be 10 out of 10. Come tomorrow night. Why are West Ham good in Europe and not good in the Prem?
First of all, we've got to say that the opposition are not very good. However, at the start of the season, if someone said to me we win our first 9 out of 9 games in Europe, I'd say probably not, because you're going to have a slip up or two along the way, you'd think. But at the same card, the teams we are playing are pretty crap. I think the best team we've played in terms of calibre is probably Anderlecht, who actually got a draw against Villarreal the other day, which is a great result for them. But overall, they're games that we'd say we're the favourites in every game. But in the Premier League, it just seems... I think the mentality in the Premier League might be a bit different as well, because in Europe, we know we're winning every week. We're confident in Europe. In the Premier League, we just seem scared. We're missing big chances to get 3 points. We just can't get 3 points over the line on a consistent basis.
It is a worry. Like, I look at us in the the conference, and I see people saying, "Can West Ham win the conference?" Right? And I look at it like this: yes, we can, but then we also can lose the conference if we don't sort ourselves out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we could literally hand the conference over to someone else to go and win it if we don't sort ourselves out in the Premier League. Like, I don't want to come to sort of the Fulham game in a few weeks' time and look at it and go, you know what? Right, we need to win this game, so we're going to have to rest all our players on the Thursday against whoever we're playing. Like, and we can't keep having sort of dolly draws. As the competition sort of weans down, we are going to come across a big hitter. Do you know what I mean? Unless they all get knocked out, then do you know what I mean? It ain't going to happen, is
it? Yeah, definitely. Let's face it. If we win the Conference League and go down, I don't want that to happen. I would take not winning the Conference League if it meant we stay up, because that would ruin us. Like, imagine next year in the Championship playing 3 games a week. I think we'd have a nightmare. But obviously, if we win the Conference League and stay up, suddenly it's a great season, because West Ham winning a trophy is a complete rarity.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the league form's not good enough, but you take it at the start of the season. If someone told you we're going to have a poor league season, but we're winning a trophy, we'd all be like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The only problem with it is do you believe that we can do both towards the back end of the season?
I think we're going to have to get favourable draws, and then maybe next time we play in the Conference League, it will have to be the worst team or the second worst team available, so we can sort of get it over and done with early. Favourably a home leg first as well, that would be nice. But let's just say we draw Villarreal next, then it's going to be, I imagine we'll play the first team, as I said to you before, on the down yellow thing when we were talking about that last week. I think if we draw a team like Villarreal or someone like that caliber, who we're going to have to put our first team out against in both legs, then it's going to get nervous in the Premier League, isn't it? Because we're level on points at the relegation zone at the moment. So, yeah, I'm very nervous. And some people have pointed it out, the fact that we've got more fixtures than any other team in the relegation battle because of the European games we've got, means that we're at a disadvantage. And, I'm inclined to agree. Sometimes it can work to your advantage, because it means if you pick up a run of form in Europe, you can continue that in the league. But we haven't seen that so far this season.
And that's the worry to me. Like, I look at our final 12 games. We've got Manchester City in that game we see last night, destroy that team with ease, basically. Excuse me. Then we've got sort of like, if I remember this off the top of my head, we've got Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, all at home. Like, they're big games anytime, but they're going to be even bigger now, like, especially in the league. I think if I've got this right, our final 3 games are Brentford away, Leeds at home, and then Leicester away. Like, we've also got Palace in there away, which is a big, right? A lot of the games. One thing I will say about West Ham, but I will come to that towards the back end of the show, is that we've got a lot of games with teams around us. So 3 points is massive, basically. But we will get to that sort of towards the back end. Right, let's come to this. Let's get your predictions for Thursday night, WestHamOnline. What are you saying? How many goals are we conceding?
Conceding 0, scoring 3. 3-0 win, 5-0 on aggregate. Scamacca back amongst the goals, but can't celebrate too much. The draw is on Friday as well, so I don't know what we're doing about that. But yeah, so 3-0 win.
I am going to go for a 2-0 win. I think this would be sort of a similar game as it was over in Cyprus. I think Maxwell Cornet will play. I think he might even score. I want to see Scamacca on his team. Simple as that. I don't care what excuses Moyes keeps coming out with about data analysis and all his bollocks. The only way that you can see if a man's really on it, if you chuck him in the firing line and let him perform, basically. And I want him to get a goal. I think he needs a goal in him. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-0 win, comfortable, and we go on to the next round. Now, let's come on to this. It's going to make you laugh. Mr. Moyes and the Premier League. I see something on another channel yesterday, and people digging out Alfie, so I thought I would give my take on it. I know how to deal with you, Alf, so where some people don't. So, what did you make of, like, naming no names, of what you was hearing about you speak for the people?
Well, firstly, the context of it is that I put in the chat, I speak for every West Ham fan when I say thank you, Mr. Moyes, for the 2 great years you gave us, but I think it's time to go. I think that, to be fair, I think that's completely fair. He did give us 2 great years, and probably is time to go. I think the one thing that certain people take offence about is that they don't thank Moyes at all anymore. They just hate the man. So that's the situation. I thought it was quite funny, to be honest. So,
see, the thing is, right, I'm going to be real. Yeah, because I've had this debate with you so many times. I've had you on this channel so much. You're part of this channel with me and Lucas and all the lads, basically. Yeah, so we've had this debate so many times about Moyes, right? The thing is, I've always looked at it that a person of your age, there's no disrespect to you, you've never seen West Ham this good. I've never seen West Ham this good, and I'm like twice your age, basically. Yeah. So I look at it like this: there is a respect factor that you've seen a manager who's given us back-to-back European competitions, like qualifications, semi-final of a major competition. Let's be honest, like the Europa League is a major competition, especially for us. He's done very well this season in regards to the Conference League. He's unbeaten in that, so I can understand the respect factor. But I just think sometimes people get a bit triggered by the Moyes thing. I don't anymore. I don't really look at. I used to get triggered by the Moyes thing, but now I don't look at Moyes. I look at the ownership of this club, and I just think the ownership of this club should have took it away from Moyes a long time ago. Do you know what I'm saying? What do you think on that?
Obviously the Moyes thing, I do still like Moyes. I have heard things from certain people saying that he's not a great. They don't like him as a person in real life, but then I've heard other people say that he comes across well. So I don't know what to believe. Obviously, I think he's lost the plot now, but I do think it's more on the owners at this point. Moyes is going to go, oh, I'm going to walk away, because that will be his career over. Moyes is obviously going to think, I can still keep this team up. He's not going to just walk away. I've heard a few people say, why doesn't he walk away if he respects the club? If you're a manager, if you're a manager at Premier League level, you're there because you believe in yourself. So
let's be honest, WestHamOnline, mate. Let's be honest. Why is he going to walk away? He's getting paid very, very well.
Yeah,
he's only he ain't going to get another job in the Premier League, I don't think. Right. So why would you walk away from a situation where you're so stubborn? And this is a stubborn man, by the way. Like, let's all remember that he's a very stubborn man.
Yeah.
He don't change anything really, unless he's literally has to be like forced into change.
Yeah.
So he ain't good. Like, that's why when people say that about he should resign if it ain't good, like he ain't good enough, he ain't gonna do that, mate. No. Like he's not gonna walk. Like the only way you get him out the door is if you throw him out of it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. So, like, what do you make of the Premier League situation? Obviously, we're talking a bit about obviously the conference, but the conference is going to be wrapped up, I believe, right tomorrow night. Where do you go with the Premier League? We've got 12 games to save ourselves.
12 games to save ourselves. There's no point wishing that Moyes goes now, because he's not flipping gonna. We just, I still think we'll stay up. I think the top 6 teams that we're playing against, the majority of them are at home, and I actually fancy us to get a point or 3 points in the odd game there, like we've shown in the past in relegation battles. Because let's face it, as crap as the atmosphere at home has been this season, if we can't get up for a game against a top 6 team when we need to stay up, then I mean we deserve it just as much as the fans, just as much as the owners and the manager. If we can't do that, so I think we can do it. I really do think we will do it. But at the end of the day, if we don't finish our chances, if we have to keep relying on penalties and lucky goals and stuff like that, then we've not got a chance. I do look at the relegation battle, and I do think there's definitely 3 worse teams than us. So,
who would you say are the worst teams for you? Because at present, I'll say this: at present, I look at us and I think I just don't know whether we've got it in us. That's good. Like if we had a couple of Mark Nobles and James Collinses in our team, then I would say, you know what? By all means, I think we can get out of trouble. I think we've got a bit of passion in that team to get out of this shit that we're in. When I look at the team that we've got, and you sort of break it down, like if you start in defence and then you work your way sort of up to the attack line, we haven't really got a lot of people who are fully committed here. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And that is the worry that I have. Like, I say it over and over again, and I say it again. Right, the next 3 games for me will decide it, in my opinion. Because if we can't beat Southampton at home, right? And we can't get anything at Fulham, who are, yeah, they're a good side, but when I look at our team to their team, our team should blow them out the water. Then we've got issues, basically.
Yeah, I think I look at the teams and I think Southampton are going to go. I think we'll beat them at home as well. If we can't beat Southampton at home, then flipping hell. Leeds are tight with us, I'll be honest, but I think Leeds are worse than us. They've got Rodrigo coming back who scores goals, though, so you never know. But definitely two others for me are Nottingham Forest. I've seen enough of Forest. I think we're better than Forest. And what was the other team I was going to mention? Bournemouth. I think we'll come above Bournemouth. Even though they won the other day and they've looked a little bit better, I look at both the squads and I just think over 38 games, surely our squad can't get less points than that. But if we do, then we're a disgrace.
Yeah, I do agree. I do think there is certain games over West Ham, this sort of next 12 games coming up, where I look at us and I think we have to beat Bournemouth, we have to beat Southampton, we have to get something at Palace. The final 3 games of the season, we have to get at least 7 points. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, all at home. That to me is like, see, the Man United game for me, right, could be a good one for West Ham because we always get up for Man United. They've turned us over in a couple of times this season, right? Which really they were games that I don't think we deserved to lose either game. I thought, right? So, and as long as Man United and Arsenal keep advancing in the Europa League, then for me, we've got a chance of getting something against them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what was the other thing I was going to say? God, I've lost my point. No, I've completely lost my point. That's annoying.
No worries, mate. No worries. When it comes back to just shout it out. So when I do look at the conference and I do look at us in the Europa League, yeah, I think them 3 games, the Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United games, they might be games that West Ham actually need to get up for. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not being funny. Southampton at home on a Sunday afternoon isn't going to get West Ham up for it, I don't think. Do you know what I'm saying? They should do, but they should be up for every game, right? And I'm going to talk about the atmosphere in a minute because you was there the other day and Mitch put something out there on Twitter and said basically the West Ham atmosphere at home is atrocious. But what was the atmosphere? How bad was the atmosphere the other day for you?
Terrible. You can literally hear people shouting. It's that quiet. You can hear the odd person shout. People are whispering. It is really bad. Like I listened to Everton's atmosphere when Dwight McNeil scored on the weekend, and it's way better. I know that their stadium's better, but I'm sorry. I think our atmosphere is a disgrace, and it continues to be that, sadly.
Why?
Because I don't think the fans have realised the severity of the situation, but it doesn't seem like that in the crowd in terms of the noise at the moment. I know, once again, the stadium's not the best for generating noise, but we've got to do better than that. I mean, it's a disgrace. We're in a relegation battle, sadly, and you can hear a pin drop, and that you probably could hear a pin drop. It was that quiet.
Yeah, but why has it gone from I know the results are not happening, right? Now, I'm not clueless to say that, yeah? But when the crowd's there, they must, their duty is to get this team up for it. Shout as loud as they can and be consistent over and over again. It seems like to me that they're, I don't know, it's just flat. But then I never forget what someone said to me on this channel, yeah, when I done a Q&A session one night. They said, I'll go over West Ham United to be entertained, James, and I'm not being entertained. And, it's a problem.
But the thing is, I see what Steve says here. In that Soulless Bowl, you will never get the atmosphere as Upton Park. Yes, but if you could bring back the Europa League nights last year, especially Sevilla, and I know it's a big occasion, but we were loud. Everton.
Yeah.
I've got to bring it back to Everton. They were terrible last season, like god awful. Yet when they were turning up for games near the end of the season, from the first whistle, their fans were incredible. And
Yeah.
so I hate when people use the excuse, "Oh, the players have to give us something to shout about." No.
Sometimes the crowd's got to do their job for the players to be inspired to do theirs. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think it is a major issue. I'm not going to lie, because it seems like to me when West Ham. One thing I will say about West Ham on Sunday that I did notice is I know they went 1-0 down, but they got back on level terms. I know it's a penalty, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's part of the game. But they didn't let their heads just go completely down. Right, that's one thing I will say. They got back on level terms pretty sharpish, but the crowd needs to turn up, especially in these home games. And that's why I do think the Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool games. If I see performances in them, I'm not saying like if we don't win the game or we get a draw at the game, then it is what it is. But I want to see performances where you go, you know what, you can be inspired. I'm not seeing West Ham being inspired at the minute. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not seeing a lot, to be fair. The other point, it's just came back to my head. Steve also mentioned Leicester in the battle earlier, and Leicester is our last game of the season, so it could come down to who wins that game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. I don't want to be going to sort of the King Power on the final Sunday of the season and having to win. I don't think it will go that far, though, right?
No,
Something's going to happen. I think if we can sort of, basically you've got to do it in stages, like blocks of 4 now for the Premier League. I think the Manchester City game for me personally is to go up there and minimise them as much as you can. If it means defending for 90 minutes to stop them from scoring loads and loads of goals, then great. Yeah, I can accept that. Yeah. I'm not expecting West Ham to go up there and play 4-3-3 attacking football because we're just going to get destroyed. Right? It'd be stupid. Yeah. I think goal difference is a major thing now with us because we've conceded a few goals. Like we scored 4 and then we conceded 4, and then our goal difference needs to sort itself out. So the Manchester City game is a game where, for me, we have to lower that bracket of not conceding as many goals as other teams. Yeah. But I've sort of pinpointed six games out of the 12 where I think West Ham can win. I think Southampton is definitely a game West Ham have to win. They have to win that game. I think Fulham's a game West Ham can win. I think Fulham will come forward. It'll suit West Ham down to the ground. West Ham can play counter-attacking football at Craven Cottage. I think that's a game West Ham could definitely win. Bournemouth away is another one. That's the third game. I think Palace is a good game for West Ham also. Palace are in trouble, right? And there's a lot of teams that are in trouble that we're not even mentioning. Leicester, Palace. Palace can't win a game at the minute, right? A bit like us. And I think the pressure will be on the Palace a lot more than West Ham in that game because Palace will yet again will have to come forward. West Ham can play counter-attacking football. So I think Palace is a really good game. The Brentford game worries me, right? But it does worry me. But then I look at it. That's the third game. That's the second from last game of the season away from home, right? Brentford could be on the beach by then, right? I think they will start being on the beach. Yeah. The Leeds home game is the other one where I think West Ham Leeds is always a big game, but that's going to be massive. Like that final home game of the season, especially if we have to win it. And there's another game in there somewhere. I think Man United we can get a win. I really do. Yeah. Right. I think the Manchester United game, take the name away. If they're fighting for Europa League, and they will want to win that 100%. I believe that could be a game West Ham can get something. Well, out of the 3 big hitters, Man United, Liverpool, and Arsenal, if we can get 4 points out of them games, I'll be over the moon. I'll literally be over the moon, mate. I'll be buzzing. So anything else WestHamOnline you want to add?
Just, I think we'll get 11 or 12 points. So, how many points are we on at the moment?
25, I think, isn't it? Or 24?
Christ. So if we get 12, I'm not gonna lie, that would probably keep us up.
It's
But it would be tight.
right. Let's get some questions in from the crowd. Anyone's got any questions for Alfred? Anything about his Mr. Moyes, his stuff? Then by all means, chuck a question in and answer it. Right, let's get to a few comments. Lee says, "Hi James, I enjoy your shows. Thank you very much, Lee. Ain't just me, all the lads." Another thing I'm going to say, the lads done a really good show the other night. I watched a bit of it. Tom, Mitch, and Lucas was hosting it. And I will say one thing: you just can't take Mitch anywhere, mate. Like within a few minutes, he's dropping the C bomb straight away. I'm like, Mitch, nice one. You know what I mean? You're just such a waste man. This is just that. James, are you actually confident we could beat Bournemouth away from home when we have one win away from home and Bournemouth at home are all right? For me, it's a game that we just have to attack. Like if you go team for team, like we've got the players, but have we got the manager to inspire the players to drive and go through this team? But I think we're going to have no choice other than just to attack these teams and just try to outscore these teams. Like,
if we can't beat Bournemouth, then we deserve to go.
WestHamOnline. How do you set up tomorrow, considering how big Saturday's game is? There's no game on Saturday, Cosmo Runner, because it's been called off Manchester City. So, when we do come to sort of Southampton, West Ham Online, how do you want West Ham to set up?
Well, I think we should go relatively strong tomorrow because we don't have a game on Saturday, and then obviously Southampton we put the main team out. But I think it's a blessing in disguise the Man City game being delayed because let's face it, we're going to lose that. Like we might as well just forfeit and take the. I'd aim to keep the score down. I'm not joking.
I actually think that is a massive blessing in disguise that game isn't happening this Sunday.
Yeah,
big time. Imagine us getting absolutely smashed to bits by City on Sunday, and then we've got to go into an international break, and then we've got to come back, and then we've got to try and get our confidence up, ready for Southampton.
Yeah,
like that is like a major thing. Don't get me wrong, we will have to play them, yeah, but I'd rather play them and sort of go up there with like a bit of confidence if we can beat Southampton. Like I look at that bracket of 3, yeah, because I think the City game will go. If I'm being honest, I think the City game will be like. What's the problem if it's like a game from the end? Like because I don't know where if West Ham continue in the Conference League and they continue in the Champions League and the FA Cup, I don't see where there's a free game for City up until the end of the season. Like they found it very, very hard to get the Newcastle game in. So unless City go out of one of them competitions, it wouldn't surprise me. The game after Leeds, it's in midweek, and then that midweek game could be City away, and then the final game of the season could be Leicester.
Yeah,
if that makes sense, right? So towards the right at the back end of the season. So in one way, what we want to do is we want to like avoid that game for as long as possible until we can get sort of ourselves stable in a situation where we can go up there and it is like a free hit. Like at the minute, we need to win there. So do you know what I'm saying? Right, let's get this. Morning, lads. Right, let's go have a look. Suchet has to come out of the side. You agree? West Ham Online.
I'm not sure. He weren't great on the weekend, but I will say he's been a lot better in 2023. I genuinely don't mind at this point.
It's one for Jazza. Tell us something we don't know about Will still.
He's 19 games unbeaten. Reams get fined 20 grand every game because he doesn't have his UEFA Pro license. And he learnt his trade from Football Manager. And at 30 years old, he's the youngest manager in Europe's top 5 leagues. And
he was an under-18s coach at Preston North End.
Yeah.
I actually think, be honest, right, in all seriousness, Are you surprised how well he's actually doing over there in France? 19 games unbeaten. That's nearly half a season, mate.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh, it is half a
brilliant.
season.
I mean, yeah, that is unreal. To be fair,
Like, I know there. I think it's like, if I've got this right, I think it's like 10 wins and 9 draws. I think, or it's 10 draws and 9 wins, and that's something like that. It's not like it's all consistently draws and only a few wins. Like, I think the geezer's decent, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
and I know people are a bit sort of, oh, you can't get him in. He's got no fucking experience, but none of them. Like, Carrick's got no experience. Like, do you know what I mean? At the minute, he's doing well at Borough. I don't know he's your boy, but you know.
yeah. What do
Do you
you
know what I mean?
make of this? Because there's some people who still like Moyes. So I'll ask this to you and the chat. Tweet from occasional friend of the channel, elite analyst. He he says Moyes boy is still Moyes ball is still racking up high XG.
Yeah.
Clearly, Mr. Moyes is doing his job.
I know he's a bit of a wind-up elite, but one thing I will say, I'm going to say, and I'll be honest when I say this, is that he is not at fault for the amount of chances West Ham miss. Like, amount of clear-cut chances. Like, I know Ben Rama's won. Antonio's missed chances. Bowen's missed chances. It's not like we can all sort of go, that's on Moyes. Like the other day, for instance, we had enough chances to beat Villa, and we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's been a few games this season. Like, let's be honest, not in the Forest away at the start of the season. How we did not score a goal in that game is a joke, right? But to lose the game was just like, what's going on, sort of thing. So yeah, I can understand it on that. The only problem is that they've got to start turning these draws into wins, West Ham. They have to. Like, a draw is not enough anymore. Like, I would rather West Ham go for it and be brave. They have to start basically being brave and trying to win these games. Like, if we're playing Southampton at home on the 2nd of April and basically it's 1-1 and it's the 75th minute, I expect strikers to come on. I expect West Ham to go for it, because a point is just like, I know people said to me the other day at Alpha, they go, oh, you got to respect the point. And I said, yeah, you can respect, like, all that sort of crap about respect the point. And I'm like, well, what am I respecting? We need 3 points. Like, if we get a point,
I don't even get what that means. Respect the point.
Right, I could respect a point against Arsenal. Right, yeah. I could, the way Arsenal are playing. I could respect a point against Manchester United. If we got a point against Manchester United, I'll go, all right, fair enough. Yeah. I can't respect the point against Southampton. Like, I can't. Do you know what I'm saying?
Tweeted about the point. Let me
let's have a look. I'll wait for you to forget. I'll read this out. If we stay up and got rid of Moyes at the end of the season, would you prefer Will Steele or Carrick as our new manager? I'll be honest. WestHamOnline prefers Carrick. I prefer Will Steele. I think Will Steele is a sort of manager that can develop over the next 5 years easily. Like, the man's unbeaten in 19 games in the French league, and people will knock the French league, but to be unbeaten in 19 games anywhere, right, in any top league in Europe, takes some doing. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. He's turned Balogun into a player who looks like unreal. Like, I'll be honest with you. I watched that kid at Manchester, not Manchester City, at Middlesbrough, sorry, and he couldn't hit a barn door. Right? He goes to France and he just starts scoring goals after goals. And now he's being linked with AC Milan and Inter Milan, I think it is. Yeah. So I like Will Steele. Obviously, you like Carrick. You like what he's done. And let's be honest, what Carrick's done at Borough is very similar to what Will Steele's doing in France. Like, he come into Middlesbrough, when Middlesbrough were right near the bottom of the league. Yeah. And I think he went on an unbeaten run of like something stupid. And now
he's a great coach.
And so basically they're two good managers. I would rather West Ham go for a young up and coming manager and give him time, because that's one thing we like to do at West Ham, is give our managers time. We just don't sack managers. I'd rather go down that route than rather going for someone who's been there, seen it, done it, who's had their day, so to speak, and we're just going to get 2-3 years out of Geezer at best. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you know, have you found what you're looking for? And I've got a question.
You've got a decent result for West Ham. You've got to respect the point.
Yeah, you know, it's just mad, isn't it? Question for the lads: who is the best footballer who has come on E20s, and why is it Lucas?
It's definitely not Lucas. I'll tell you that.
Well, I would say it's probably Alfie or Mitch. Mitch is like, I say, you know what Mitch is like. He's a very passionate man. Like he's definitely a centre half of all centre halves. The question is, can Carrick bring the same thing into the Premier League? West Ham Online.
I like your profile picture, by the way, West Ham United Zoomer. You've got to hope so, yeah. I think we've got to take a risk next season if we stay up and bring Carrick to the Prem. I think he can do it. Obviously, I don't think people are saying he's like a new Gerard Lampard type. I disagree. I think you can see when a manager's really good or really bad just based on their tactics. Even they're in a different league. Even when Gerrard was at Rangers and he was winning the league, I didn't think their tactics were translatable to the Prem. And, I mean, they weren't. So, yeah, I think Carrick's a totally different manager to them two, and I think he can do it. Also, to Iron's analysis, I'm the best footballer.
Yeah, I knew Alfie was like that. Carrick had time with Man United, didn't he? Coaching before being a manager. He was actually their manager at one stage, wasn't he?
Yeah, he beat Villarreal and drew to Chelsea in his 2 games.
Yeah, and he actually, if I remember rightly, the Chelsea game, he actually played pretty well in that game.
Yeah,
I think they should have won that game. If I remember rightly, I might got this wrong, but I think Chelsea scored in like the 90th minute or something.
Yeah, they did.
But it was on the verge of basically, winning that game. The thing is, well, I just feel West Ham need a refresh. Someone said it earlier on in the chat, and I do agree with what they said. Nothing will change until this ownership of this club is gone, basically, i.e. the man at the top. Like, why he's still there, nothing's going to change. And that's the fear I have. Like, do you think he's going to sell up at the end of the year, West Ham Online? Because I spoke to someone the other day and they said, James, I actually don't think he's going to sell. I think he's like someone said to me, I think it was Tommy who said it to me. It's all he's got, Sullivan. Like, he needs something in his life. And is he going to go and why would he go and leave West Ham when he's already got it? Do you know what I'm
saying? I think he won't sell, no. And I think it will be a year or two at least until he sells. But then again, we're saying that every year and he just remains for another year. He'll probably be here in about 2050.
Yeah. Let's hope not. Okay, no, that's not going to be so many years that we haven't won a Vicky trophy. So, yeah. Anything else, West Ham Online, that you want to add, talk about, discuss West Ham related? Anything?
I've got a question for everyone.
Go ahead.
2 questions, actually. How many points do you think we'll get in the remainder of this season? And what is your favourite picture of David Moyes?
I knew Mr. Moyes would come into the crowd. Well, I've got a picture of him. It's on my dartboard at the minute, but, you know, it is what it is. I reckon, for me to answer that, I reckon West Ham get 15 points. I reckon West Ham will get, 15. I think that would be 4 wins, and then the rest will be draws.
Yeah.
I think the 4 wins will be Bournemouth, Southampton. I don't know why, but I've got a feeling that West Ham will turn Fulham over. I don't know. That's the one that I'm looking at, and I'm thinking, I think Fulham are in a situation where they're comfortable, and I think their heads might slip at home. I think West Ham can capitalise on that one. So I'm going to say Fulham and all. And then I think Leeds is another one at home. Big game, but I'd fancy us against them in a one-off game at the LS. Like, if someone said to us right now, we're going to play Leeds at home, and if you win, you stay up. Excuse me. I would fancy us to do that. If all the boys are ready, then we should get that done.
I agree.
So I look at that and I can see a couple of draws in there. I think Palace is a game. that we definitely can't rule out for not winning. We've won there the last 2 times we played there, so it's just I'm hoping for 15, but I reckon if we get 12, I don't think it's going to be enough, mate.
No. Oh, I think it could be just because of how bad some of the teams are. Iron's analysis says he reckons we'll get 34 points, and his favourite photo is the classic Mr. Moyes photo, the one of him smiling.
Connor's got one. Moyes' picture as a ginger, toothless crackhead playing this guy. Yeah. Big up Connor, man. He's, I agree, mate. I agree. I've got to be honest. Like, at Mr. Moyes' photo, like, circles its way around Twitter like wildfire, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Is there any reason why you do it? Because I did see it that you sort of called him Mr. Moyes out of respect. Is it a respect thing with you, WestHamOnline?
No, it's not a respect thing. I started calling him it, didn't I, as a joke, and now it seems to just have started.
No, what you used to do, you used to start saying it to me to literally wind the shit out of me. But now I'm so used to it with you. I'm like, you know what? Right, when he comes out of it, I'll just stand back, laugh a little bit, and go. I let him carry on.
I think sometimes you call him Mr. Moyes now, James, as well.
Yeah, mate. I know. And you know what? Like, I think it was the other day. Yeah, I was writing a tweet out about Moyes, and I went, "Yeah, there's a Mister." I went, "Leave it. Alfie's got to me." With the Mr. Moyes, I was like, "Oh, fucking hell, mate! Don't put Mr. Moyes on it, James, mate. I'll get unfollowed everywhere." So, yeah, I just called him a twat instead. So, you know what I mean. Alfie calls everyone uncle out of respect to his elders. Is that true, Alfie?
Yeah.
Is this on the cards, Alfie? Alfie versus Nick at Claret and Booze might be the one for Misfits boxing on Mr. Moyes. I'll train you up, Alfie, if you want. You know what I mean? I don't mind training you up. Get you in the ring. You know what I mean?
I'd have to fight more of a lightweight, like let me think of someone.
Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can go against Nick.
You know what? I'm going to say it, even though it's on fucking stream and I don't care, right? He's a good lad, Nick. Yeah, he's a good bloke. Right? I will say that he's passionate West Ham fan. I'll give him that. But sometimes he's got to look at things and go, sit back, just laugh it off, right? Right? I know what he's like all the time. Right? This is a shout out to Nick, yeah? I know what he's like all the time, yeah? And what he's got to do is he's got to not get triggered by that twat there. Right? That's as simple as that, right? And you know what? We're all in the same boat. We all love West Ham. We all support this team through thick and thin. And like, if Alfie calls him Mr. Moyes, the Messiah, you just got to look at him and go, like, what fucking drugs is he on today? That's what you got to say. So, do you know what I'm saying? I respect Nick to a point of what he's doing with his channel, because I know how hard it is to do channels and all that. But sometimes his opinions are a bit mental. But that's about it. Do you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, when I look at West Ham and I look at Alfie, one thing I will say about Alfie is this. You have been literally supporting him for such a long time. And you have, right? You have supported this geezer for a long time. And it was only the other week when I think I pulled you up on this and I turned around and said, you ain't going to change your tune and be a flip-flop like now. You went, and you actually turned and said to me, you said, no, James. Like, you just went, it's done now, really. He needs to sort of get us out of trouble and he needs to go. So I've got to respect you for that, yeah, because someone like you could be that deluded, right, to turn around and say, you know what, he's going to change it. You can't sack, like, do you know what I'm saying? But I think if Moyes was to get the sack after the game against AEK Larnaca, I don't think you would complain unless there was a decent replacement. Like if they sacked him and bought Michael Carrick in, you'd be over the moon.
Oh yeah, I'd take Carrick. Definitely, I would.
Do you see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Go on, mate. You was going to say something?
Say to the comments, Iron's analysis said, serious question for Alfie. What do you think of West Ham United game day's opinions? He's still Moyes. I think he goes a bit over even more further than me on the Moyes thing, where he literally, I don't think I've ever seen him criticise Moyes once. So I think he goes too far personally, but I don't think
what is too far for you with the Moyes in thing?
where
Honestly,
too far, probably where you can't admit even when it's glaring obvious mistakes. Right?
yeah,
Let me think of an obvious mistake he made. Playing Downs as an attacking midfielder against Tottenham. That was
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, like, is it like? See, like, I see you and Irons having it the other day, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like, every time I'm coming on Twitter, mate, there's a feed going about like some shit. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, why? Why are you bothering? Do you know what I'm saying? So I must admit, some opinions are fucking baffling. I will give you that. Do you know what I'm saying? But one thing I will say is that you have been consistent, and like you've, like me and I'm not too sure who was Moyes out first on this channel. If I'm being honest, I think it was me. I think I turned around and said after a game he's got to go, and I think Mitch sort of followed me straight after.
Yeah, nobody was that early. I think everyone stuck by him enough.
Yeah, I think the game for me was the Palace game.
Yeah,
the game where we lost. The game where we lost 2-1. And I looked at it, he took Ben Rama off after he scored. I was like, what is going on here? Like, the geezer's he scored a good goal and you take him off and we end up losing the game. And then I think the Leicester game was the following week, if memory serves me right. And then we lost that game and Mitch said, no, I'm with you, James. I want him out the door now. And then like it sort of followed on. You and Lucas were a bit later on, then it was Lucas, and then WestHamOnline decided to be a Moyes out person along with us. I've got to get to this. West Ham, what's your thoughts on that last night? I did see a bit of it.
You see the picture I put up?
Yeah.
I think Ben Rama's got to watch his back, mate. This is a guy this Digger D is a guy who has literally killed people. So I think Ben Rama's put him. If I was him, I wouldn't have got into this relationship. And I've got to be honest, Ben Rama's girlfriend is a complete clout chaser from what I can tell. So I don't know. Ben Rama seems to like all the fashion and all that sort of stuff, but I think he's got. I don't even know how he communicates with her, by the way, because apparently he can't speak English. So I don't know.
Was it fucking hand signs? Is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking Google Translate. I'll tell you what, we'll wrap it up there. We'll come up to the hour. WestHamOnline, thank you very much for coming on, mate, with your Google Translate. Anything else that you want to add before we go? Because obviously, in regards of the next sort of few days, we're going to be quiet. Obviously, the game's tomorrow. Lucas is going to do a watch along on that. And we'll do the usual stuff on here. Yeah. And then at the weekend, it's going to be pretty quiet. Have you got any plans for the weekend, Alfie? You going out, doing anything?
I'm either doing nothing or going to Bournemouth, so we will see.
He's going Bournemouth, mate. He's going to the Vitality. Wait.
Oh, the other thing I was going to say is we'll clip up a couple of the bits as usual from the stream here and put it on the on James's Twitter. I think we've got to put that bit on the Twitter about Ben Rama and Digger D personally.
Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. Listen, I want to appreciate everyone who's been watching today. I know it's an early morning one, but me and Alfie were about today. So, yeah, we thought we'd do a little show between 11 and 12. Please smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We're 9 away from 1,500 subscribers, which is really, really good going. We're going to be busy over the next sort of 24 hours, 24, 48 hours, obviously with the draw and everything else coming up on Friday. Yeah. And then I'm going to look at doing a few interesting shows in the next sort of coming week, because obviously, you know, with West Ham not playing, it'd be nice to sort of talk about different things. But yeah, I'll be interested.
James, before we end, is there any way you can go on Twitter while this stream is on and quickly look at something?
I can't, mate. I literally can't. What is it?
I released a video this morning for 5k followers.
I did see it. You showed me it the other day. Yeah, it's like finding bloody Nemo, isn't it?
No, but I've added more bits on it. Look what's at the end.
I'd have to have a look and see what's on the end. James, what would you do if Digger D called you out? I would probably laugh, mate. You know what I mean? Like, I love it when people call me out. It's quite hilarious. You know what I mean? I don't get really triggered anymore. I did the other day, but then I let myself down. I was like, "No, mate, James, you've got to be better than that, bruv." You know what I mean? So yeah, Connor says the way Millwall are going, they've got as much chance of getting promoted as we are of getting relegated. Before we go, Alfie, how would you feel if we went down and they went up?
Jesus, I think
that would
I'd shoot myself.
Well, how would you feel if Millwall come up and West Ham went down, mate?
That would be the biggest disaster of the decade for me.
God, not half. Trust me. Oh dear. But we'll leave it at that. Anyway, have a good Wednesday. If you're following Cheltenham, good luck. Trust me, yesterday was a bit hit and miss, but good luck today. There's a race today.
Stream today, James, or not?
Eh?
Are you doing any Cheltenham streams or anything today?
I was going to, but I probably won't, mate. I'm probably going to leave it. There's a horse race today called, I think it's Gaelic Warrior.
Yeah.
So follow that horse. It might do all right today. You know what I mean? But just make sure you don't fall at the first hurdle. Anyway, from me to you, peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.